Hello, my name is Matthew Washington, and when I searched up the trending things in the market today, one thing that I noticed that was not really spoken of in a positive direction is e-cigarettes and what vaping has changed for the physical cigarette as a whole in America. We do know that there are a lot of negative things to look at when you see what cigarettes have caused with lung damage and all those things like that. And vaping has also come behind cigarettes with that, as we saw in 2019 with the vaping epidemic, with the teenagers getting addicted and such. It was not the best thing, and I'm sure that's not what the intention was. But the only credible thing that I could see was that the flavors, and the way that things were being advertised was to appeal to the teenager because of its sleek design and it looking more of like a futuristic device, and then the flavors being ranging from something so that would appeal to the youth, like all the fruity flavors they had. But vaping has actually changed a lot for the tobacco industry as a whole. Vaping is a lot safer than the cigarette as far as the environment and the human body as well. There have actually been no reports of any sort of severe lung damage from vaping, especially with the vapes that have been certified and that actually went through the FDA and something like that. Of course, there was a bit of an issue last year with the Juul. It had a lot of backlash because of kids smoking Juuls that were laced with what was it? It was an opium, is what it was. And I'm sure that no one's intention was to harm anyone from the production of these vapes, and no one had the intention of releasing something like that to the youth or anything like that. But Congress had obviously thought the smartest thing to do was to raise the vaping age from 18 to 21, as far as any tobacco product at that. But my question would be for, the tobacco industry is, how do they think that, would change anything? Because if teenagers who were underage were already getting the products, then how is that going to affect their ability to get those products? Because if they got someone who was 18 to buy them for them, then how would they get someone that's 21? I mean, what's the chance they wouldn't get someone that's 21 to buy them for them? But some of the things I want to sort of focus on is how much more efficient the vape is, as far as all of the different flavors and expenses. It's not as expensive as smoking cigarettes, because usually when you buy one cartridge, it's supposed to last you about a week, even up to 2 weeks. And e-liquids are a lot better for you than the normal nicotine that would be given to you through a tobacco cigarette. And also, I want to go back to how the design of these vapes are a lot more appealing than the cigarette. And I think it's a very awesome marketing tool to make something a lot safer, that looks a lot better, that is more cost effective, and would have a lot of competition, because of course Juul obviously made it a lot harder for vape producers last year. But of course, it did not completely outsell every customer. The Novo Series 1 and 2 was also a very popular vaping device. And there's another one, the Puff Bar was also a very popular one that was a disposable one. But all of these were more popular than the Juul because they used salt nicotine, which is a nicotine that was produced through a salt water process, makes for a healthier cigarette opposed to smoking just straight out concentrated nicotine. Another thing I wanted to acknowledge is what this meant for the trend in America. A lot of things are a lot more pop and tech savvy nowadays. We're moving into a place of where everything is digital, everything is charged, and uses a lot of electricity, which is a lot healthier for society than things that are used with fire. And what people fail to realize, it actually makes for a lot more healthy a healthier environment as well. And I'm not speaking outside. I mean, inside you can smoke those things and you wouldn't have that lingering smell of a cigarette or tobacco. And of course, to fit to the people around you, because they're designed for indoor smoking, although lots of laws kind of push that out as well, because of course, people had their issues with that. Yeah, so vaping is a very trending topic. One of the most popular ones I know of right now is actually the Novo, and the Novo is a lot. It's very special because you can change the levels of the nicotine count. You don't have to go all the way to the top. You can even smoke stuff that has no nicotine, and which really does no harm to you at all. There are no reported cases of that, and it runs for about $40 for the original device, and the coil is about $10 a pack. But for normal vapors, they only run through a coil about probably about twice a month. So if you buy the device one time, and it can last you up to 2 to 3 years, depending on how you handle it. It could do a lot better for you as far as saving money, and the juice also lasts for a very long time. But it's definitely a lot safer than smoking the Juul. It's a lot cheaper than smoking the Juul, and it definitely got a much better criticism over the Juul because of Juul's epidemic. A lot of the social media that I witnessed myself was that Juul was harming these teenagers, and Juul was doing all this, and they were lacing their vapes. But what had really been going on is that Juul had no idea of what was going on with their production cells. They were just producing what they thought that their fans needed. And of course, that is sad for them, because a lot of those flavors got taken off the shelves and banned from a lot of local stores. And the limited supply that is available, I have seen myself from vape stores, it goes for about $60 for a 4-pack cartridge of the vaping cartridges for the Juul. So if you're talking about saving money, you're talking about having that competitive advantage. If you have a healthier e-cigarette, you have a better tasting e-cigarette, you would definitely want to go with the Novo series. And what's most popular in vaping today is the Novo series, and I would say the next most popular would be the Puff Bar. The Puff Bar has definitely gotten the design that the Juul had, and it took it and it put in something other, and it has a better flavor and a much better smell. It has a much longer time of use. So yes, vaping is definitely a very trending thing, a very trending topic, and it has a lot of good things, and of course there are bad things. There are a lot of things that we don't know, because sometimes there could be long-term effects that we have yet to discover because it hasn't been long enough. So, but as of right now, vaping is still very popular in 2020, even with the laws being from 18 to 21. Of course, people are still going to find their ways to get what they need, which is not a good thing, of course. But as far as the tobacco production, the tobacco industry production for vapes is not really slowing down. If anything, it's progressing, and they're trying to figure out other ways to produce healthier and safer cigarettes than the regular tobacco cigarette, because I believe that the ultimate decision should to finally cancel out the regular tobacco cigarette. But for the most part, I believe that the Juul is probably going to get flushed down the drain, just like the tobacco cigarette would. But the other e-cigarette devices are going to flourish because they haven't received as much backlash, and not much has been said about them as far as negative comments or anything. And on social media, if you search trending vapes, trending vaping, anything like that, you would likely see the Novo product. So thank you so much for watching. This is Matthew.